So how many times have you gone to open up a box full of your frogs like this, and you found that some of the frogs' legs are just sticky and nasty and get all just unusable? Like, these are brittle and sticky and just not cool at all. You can see they start sticking to the frog. I know there's things you can do to put to keep that from happening, like putting some baby powder and things like that in your box. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. What I would rather do is just replace these tails. This frog has not been used. It was just one I was carrying with me. And in this case, I'm going to show you how to replace those tails and come up with pretty much a brand new frog. So the first thing you got to do is get the tails out of here. That's not hard to do. The legs that are in there right now are just pulled through and then just tied in a knot, and that knot is what keeps them in there. So in this case, most of the legs broke. Pop the other legs right out, and we're all good to go. So now we've got a perfectly good frog body with no legs. And the easy solution, just to bring it back to how you would buy it in a package, is to buy some different jig materials and just go ahead and pull those through. I'm going to do something a little different here. I actually really like to use Flashabou material. This Flashabou material to me is the most lifelike looking material that you can get to match bluegill tails. So a lot of times what I'll do is replace my frog legs with Flashabou material. I'll use the same material to tie like feathered treble hooks to put on topwaters. So I cut a chunk of the Flashabou off, and this will be the legs that we feed through the frog. I like just to wet the material a little bit. And it makes it a lot easier to work with. It just sticks to itself. And at that point, then what I'll do is I'll take a paper clip that I've unstraightened and feed it through the legs on the frog. I've got a little opening on the other side of the paper clip, and I'll hook the Flashabou material okay, and then I'll just pull it back through. And you want to be careful not to pull it too hard, because it'll pull all the way through. And here you go. We've got our legs. Let me straighten it all out. And we'll trim that up a little bit. Two nice long legs, we can straighten them up. Really what I like to do is just to grab some super glue, and what I'll do is I'll just put a dab of glue right at the leg holes. And that'll hold those legs really, really good. Give that a few minutes to dry. So what's great about that is if you do have a frog that loses legs, you can play around with it and come up with some other options. One option would be to put some little blades in. These are just little flasher blades that you can put on like the back of a Texas rig, or screw into a general style bait. You can do that. And we got a couple of, you just need a couple of them, put one in each leg, put a dab of super glue on it, and you're good to go. I mean, these hold really well. This is something I like to do too, especially if the bass are feeding on really small bait fish. It seems like them little blades draw a little attraction. Like I said, put a dab of super glue on each one, And with this, you don't even have to worry about legs going bad, because these things will be good to go forever. I mean, that's a really good frog change to make as well. The last thing I want to point out too here, you know, if you do leave the rubber in that you get, you know, this is a Spro Frog, super long tails on it. One thing I like to do is I'll take a this is just a rubber band used for making skirts, and I'll put them on the legs to kind of create a little bit of leg motion in the water. And that's really easy to do as well. This is a skirt making tool. You can get them at Tackle Warehouse for a couple of bucks. What you'll do is you put your skirt collar on, slide it down, pull that off, and then they give you this little metal hook that goes through it. So you go through it, and in this case, you just use the hook, pull that into your tube a little bit. I'll try to line it up with my other leg. About there, pull it tight, and then you just slide the rubber band down, back it out, take it off. And at that, to me, like I like to do this, I'll trim the legs a little bit. To me, this looks a lot like frog legs. So in the water, when you pull it, you know, these will lay out and it almost looks like the back of a frog pad that's just laying on the surface. Gives a little bit different motion to it again, something the fish haven't seen. Just another quick adaptation that you can make to the legs that are already standard on your frog. Definitely something worth trying. But you know, these are 3 quick changes to your frog that you can make to get a few extra bites, but more than anything, just gives the fish something different to look at. I feel like in recent years, the frog bite isn't as good as it used to be, and I really think it's just that the fish are kind of catching on to it. It's a pretty popular technique now, especially anytime there's emergent grass. It just seems like people are doing that. You know, that's one of the first baits you go to. So any little changes you can make will increase the number of bites you can get. And these are a few things to give your frogs a little sprucing up and hopefully catch a few extra fish.